Hi, I'm Charl from Pangolin Photo Safaris, here today in Chobe National Park on the Chobe River with Marlon du Toit, Sony Ambassador, that came to visit us as well with his exceptionally Sony gear to test here for wildlife photography.
Thanks, Charl. Yeah, it's great to be here. It's the first time back in 6 years, and really looking forward to sharing some of my experiences here with you. Stick around, there'll be some tips and just good advice for first-time photographers to the Chobe, and even seasoned professionals and people that have been here many times before. So do stick around, some good stuff coming up. Thanks, Charl.
Hey Marlon, you've been spending a couple of days here and we spent quite a time on the river. So what is your thoughts here at Chobe National Park?
Yeah, Charl, the last time I was here was in 2015, 6 years ago, and I almost want to kick myself for not coming more often. It's great to be back, and once again, just has proven to me why Chobe is such a radical wildlife and bird photography destination. So often you go on safari and it's all about the mammals, the big stuff, leopards, lions, and you tend to miss out on the bird photography, and it's so refreshing to be here, to be able to focus on birds in flight, birds feeding and fishing and flying and playing and engaging, and it gives you as a photographer an opportunity to put yourself to test and the equipment. And Chobe is not disappointed. I promise you. We started with 1 or 2 cloudy days, which we used to our advantage because we could photograph for longer during the day. And the last few days have been beautiful and sunny. So just perfect conditions to put the gear to test, to enjoy Chobe to the fullest.
So Marlon, what do you think about the boat, the movement and everything around the boat and wildlife from the boat?
It's a good question, and something I think people don't consider often enough. If you're coming out and you're a wildlife photographer, you're interested in photographing, be it mammals or birds, and a destination as a photographic destination, I think one of the first things you need to consider is the equipment and the vehicle, the mode of transport, where you'll be. Have you got space? Can you move around? Is it equipped for a wildlife photographer to get the most out of the experience? And I can say with full confidence that the Pangolin boats here on the Chobe River, it's equipped for the task at hand. It's stable, which is very important. You can imagine you're on water, the boat's moving around. So as a photographer, and especially using telephoto lenses, you're going to be moving around as well as it is. You don't need an additional bit of movement from an unstable and unsteady boat. There's space, ample space for many, many photographers. I don't know, you lose count of how many seats there are on this boat, which is great. The brackets that we can use for the photographs, it's fantastic. You have all this movement. I almost hit Charl on the head there, but fantastic for photography and for videography. You can shoot off the sides if you want to get down lower. There's even flaps that you can flip over, which I love. I look after my gear, so you don't have to put it down on the edge. You can just put it down on that flap, and you're well and away, and you're photographing at eye level. So no, absolutely well equipped, and just great boats to explore the Chobe River upon.
Hey Marlon, you brought some Sony gear with you. Tell us a bit more about your gear and what you found works really well in this environment.
Yeah, so Chobe is a great place for wide angle photography, as you can see. No, I'm kidding. This is a 600 f4, the Sony 600 f4 G Master lens, mounted on a Sony Alpha 1, and here I have the 200 to 600 mounted on a Sony A9 Mark II. And what I've been doing is I've been swapping the two around. I've been putting teleconverters on both lenses. And the idea for me is just to see how the gear works with the different focal lengths, how it works with a 1.4 teleconverter, with a 2 times teleconverter. And that was the whole goal. And especially this camera. This is a brand new camera from Sony, the Alpha 1, which is a beast. You can get up to 30 frames per second. It's 50 megapixels. It's an incredible resolution, very, very fast, great in low light. And it has bird eye autofocus, which is something that they've only introduced now on the Sony Alpha 1. I think for Chobe, it's important to have a telephoto lens. So if you come, anything I find between 400 and 600 mil, probably edging closer to 600 mil is great for Chobe. It's a great place to come and use your teleconverters. I think often on safari, we don't use them enough. They kind of gather dust in our bags. But here we can put it to test. You can get them out. You can photograph even the tiniest malachite kingfishers and pied kingfishers and get all the detail from the shot. So for me, 600 is a great lens for here. 200, 600 is a great focal length. If you have 100, 400 or 500 mil or anything in that range, you'll do well on the Chobe River. So for me, the gear's been great. It's performed to task and even more than what I had anticipated. So very, very happy with the experience so far.
And the fast frame rate's of course a little bit of a bonus with it.
Absolutely. You know, like it's a blessing and a curse. You know, you end up with possibly thousands of pictures after a single day. But, you know, I'm not one of those photographers where people are wholly about, you know, the one shot wonder kind of stuff. Take one photo and you have the shot. You know, for me, we have the technology, so use it. You know, very often for me, I like to start a sequence. If I can see that I want to capture the animal in a specific position, I'll start the sequence just before and end just after. And that way I'm assured that at uncompressed raw 20 frames per second, or, you know, some cameras 12 frames or whatever the frame rate is, but shoot and use your frame rate, because you can very easily then select the one shot that you want. So, you know, that's a habit that I've gotten myself into, and to have all those frames available, to have the incredible autofocus system for me on the Alpha 1, and so many of today's modern cameras, it just really helps you on the river. Yeah.
Marlon, you've been in this industry for quite a while. You've been a field guide for many years, and after that, now for many years, you're a wildlife photographer. What advice or tips can you give for out there?
Yeah, it's a great question, and you know, there's so much you can cover. And I think one of the biggest things I can say is most of the work is done before you even get here, because I find so many people, and I'll speak on the Chobe in a minute, but so many people come on safari and they haven't picked their camera up for 6 months, 8 months, a year. And you come on safari and the first few days, it's just pure frustration because you can't remember a setting, you don't know where the buttons are, you haven't gone through your menu, and you're just completely foreign with your camera in hand. When you pick up your camera, it should feel familiar. And especially in a place like this, because the moment you leave that jetty and you come out on the river, it's action. It could be right there, it could be out here, but you don't want to be fumbling your way through. So, you know, the first bit of advice is photograph at home. Don't leave your camera in its bags. Go photograph your dogs, photograph your kids. Even I do. You know, I photograph my kids and pets all the time. It's great practice. So start your experience before you get here, so that when you get out, you're not unfamiliar with your gear. And then, you know, there's a lot of focus on new equipment. And I would always vouch, if you can afford it, or if you have the means, or you can rent. You know, many people get so stuck up on the fact that they have to buy the latest equipment when they can get it for rent. If you're traveling once a year, twice a year, and you want to play around with the better equipment or the newer equipment, just go and rent it. Rent it a week or two before, get used to it. But it does help to come out with good equipment, especially in a place like this. You want to try have a fast frame rate. You want to have fast enough autofocus. If you spend the amount of money to come out to Africa, to come out to these destinations, then try and make sure that your photographic equipment matches the experience on hand. You know, another bit of advice, and something so many people overlook, is choose a reputable operator. I can tell you, know about f-stop and understand, your gear and where to sit and what positioning, etc. But I think all of that will be covered by going with somebody who truly understands guests and the experience that can be offered to you as a traveler. So in addition to everything that you can go find out for yourself, but I think the one thing a lot of people underestimate is a great host, a great photographic guide. They will take care of the positioning. They will make sure you remember what to do, where to sit, how to stop, where to look. So, there's so much I can say, but I think that is one of the most important things. It will make or break your experience. You could have a guide that could not be bothered about you. What you see on social media could be very different to what you get in person. That guy can just be photographing for himself. Whereas what you want is somebody that has your interests at heart. So, guys like Charl and hopefully myself, we take care of you and we make sure you have the best photographic experience.
Marlon, thank you for coming. Thank you for the advice. Really useful advice. And you are leaving tomorrow. Sorry for that. I hope you get still a couple of great shots. And really, really thank you for your visit.
Thank you. Thank you for Pangolin, for hosting me, for Sony for sending me, and just Chobe for being so amazing. I absolutely can't wait to get back on my own again and to bring some guests to come and see this place.